Most people don't think about integrity when it comes to their health and fitness goals. But I'm going to tell you here, I think it's really an important thing when it comes to whether you're going to determine whether you're going to succeed or not. I mean, integrity, it's really an interesting thing. It's not something I really considered when I began, but it's really about being radically honest with yourself. Not honest with others, but honest with yourself, because the promises you make, and a lot of times we can talk a really big game to others. We're going to do this, we're going to do these things. But you know what? The promises you make to yourself for your health and your fitness, it really determines how your progress is going to happen. So think about it this way. Think about how easy it is to say, well, I'll get to that later, or I'll make up for it and do doubles tomorrow, or I'll catch up on the weekend. I'll just rearrange my schedule. And while I call these little false promises to ourselves, it's normal. We can have the busy day-to-day things that end up happening. But seriously, how often does it happen? And maybe you can relate to this. Maybe you're a person who dials it in. I don't know. But those, I'll do it the next day. Or I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it over the weekend. Do we really live up and honor that? Or do we kind of set that aside and say, well, I'll get to it another time? The truth is, the point I'm trying to make is we break promises to ourselves all the time. And when we do that, even though it might not seem significant and it might be totally justified, we can reason things away. I mean, we can spin a story to make it work and fit our needs, right? But every time we do that, we kind of chip away at the trust we have in our ability to succeed. And that's why I think having integrity with yourself is really, really important. I think it builds a foundation for lasting success. So we're going to talk about that today. But before we do that, I do want to welcome you to another Power Blast podcast where we provide nourishment for the soul, allowing you to transform from the inside out, because I think it's a mindset stuff, right? Which allows you to really get rapid results in mindset and fitness so that you can recharge your mental and your physical battery and reclaim your power instead of giving your power away. Okay. And hey, when you're ready, head over to talktoperry.com. That's TalkToperry. I've opened that website up specifically for my podcast viewers like you, or podcast listeners if you're catching it on a podcasting app, specifically for that, because I want to help you level up your energy and really reach all of your goals, whether it's health and fitness stuff or it could be other things. These things apply to a lot of different areas of life. TalkToPerry.com. So, what popped in my head here was how we strengthen integrity. I found myself, I was lacking integrity all the time when it came to, I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna get in and get my fitness stuff done. This is my year. All this stuff. I'm gonna lose the weight. I'm gonna get in shape. You just watch. It's kind of the story I'm out there broadcasting. But inside, as I've got my hour commute back and forth to work, and I'm commuting back home, and here's the thing, I was getting into this thing where I was realizing, hey, I need to find where are my gaps, and I need to seal them up. So one of the gaps was, hey, I need to join a gym. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to work out at home. Okay, so I'm going to work out at home. Well, I need to get motivated. So I would have all these little gaps that I would create, and to me, they seem really huge. But I wasn't within, living in integrity when it came to actually showing up. On that drive home, I would often negotiate with myself, promise myself I'd just catch up on it tomorrow. I was like, oh, today's leg day, or oh my gosh, it's a cardio day. I don't like cardio. And I would literally convince myself how much I did not like cardio so I could give myself grace and not do it, not show up. Make up for it in the weekend, make up for it later. That's future Perry's problem, right? But the first thing I really needed to understand was, and I didn't know at the time, now I get to share with you, we build our integrity through consistency. and it's starting with these small, realistic promises to ourselves. Not that you've got to be realistic in your goals. You can have big, huge goals and not even know how to get them. But when you're developing the habits and you're making the habits consistent, those grand goals can be achieved a lot easier. A lot of times people will set grand goals, not know how to do it, think they have to have it all figured out first, and then they don't take action. And then we start to negotiate with ourselves, rationalize something, reason things away, blame stuff, use excuses, you name it. So we say, well, that sounds good in theory, but life happens. I missed a little workout, a little cheat meal, and we giggle, hee hee hee, all that stuff. But inside, we've got the self-talk going on where we feel like a failure, you know? So a better strategy, and this is something that I started doing because I realized that first I needed to take responsibility for myself, stop blaming other things, stop saying, well, it's my to-do list, well, it's, the economy, well, it's the government, well, it's, whatever it is, overpriced food. I can't eat healthy because everything's expensive, those sort of things. I started just realizing, what are the things I can control myself? Smaller, achievable actions, goals, 20 to 30 minutes of movement. I started with 25-minute workouts and just built them consistently. Now, there were days I didn't want to do them. There were days I just would start to negotiate with myself. But that was the power of awareness going, aha, there it is. There's an old story coming up. I can do something about it because I want to stay in integrity and in alignment with my goal. And if my goal is to lose the weight, to be in shape, to be able to do the things in life that I currently can't do, I've got to keep going with that, And so that is where, when you start to hit those targets, you start to build momentum and trust with your ability to stick with it. From there, then you can start to increase intensity, duration. You can start, building. You start building just a confidence in your consistency. Now, I get it. At the beginning, if we have faltered over and over and over, and we've just gotten really good at quitting, staying in alignment or just keeping, trusting ourselves to trust the process can, we start to convince ourselves that something's going to give. I'll probably self-sabotage. I'll probably give in to all the temptations. And you've got that awareness to say, no, not this time, because I'm aware of it now. I can plan for those things. I can have a strategy behind it on days when I don't feel like exercising, on days when I feel like getting out of it, on days when I'm overwhelmed, overworked, whatever it is. I created a no matter what plan that had me showing up no matter what. And it was, if it wasn't the full 25 minutes, I showed up for at least 15. That was my commitment. Most days after I got the 15 minutes going, I finished the 25 because all I had to do, the big thing was all I had to do was get started. So that's one strategy for you. Another strategy, just the way you think about your fitness commitments, is just the way you treat like an appointment with, maybe it's a doctor appointment, maybe it's a dentist, maybe it's a meeting with your boss, whatever that is, one of those non-negotiables. And that, bringing it back to, that's what it made for myself, was this: no matter what, I'm showing up, even though I don't like it, even though I'm unmotivated, even though I want to not do cardio today, I still showed up. And that was building that power of consistency, integrity. Now, integrity didn't mean that I had to do a full-blown 1 hour all-in perfect workout. Integrity to me meant I just needed to show up. I'm a person who exercises. I started being the person that I had in a vision of my future self. I started being that person now. Now, maybe that person now didn't have the weight loss that my future self was going to have. But if I wanted that future, I needed to do the things now, not keep waiting till the future. So start making them not non-negotiable appointments for yourself. Just that mindset shift helps you prioritize your health and your fitness as something that you just do. And that was me. When I was negotiating that long drive to get out of it, I used to get home and sit down for an hour and say, I just got to get motivated. I just got to unwind for the day. I would convince myself this stuff. And then I realized, no, that's the exact time that I need to take action, even if it's 15 minutes. So I made that little sit down and relax time. That's my non-negotiable time. It is just an extension of my day. And I made that a chunk as a non-negotiable. And it even became to a point where it's like, oh, we've got to do something right after work. We got to do this. I'm like, no, when's Perry going to get his workout in? It became my 2 minutes to Wapner freak out moment because I had to get in and get my workout done at least sometime. There were times I needed to rearrange my schedule, but I was never trying to talk myself out of doing it. I was just trying to figure out when I was going to do it on those certain days. So it doesn't become this extra thing that just can possibly get set aside when life gets busy, So I hope those couple of tips really, really helped you. And you know what? If you are looking to just fuel up your energy, fuel up your mindset, really help you maintain that momentum going forward, I am here to help. You can really boost yourself over to talktoperry.com, help you reclaim your power, and really with just a quick chat, 15 minutes. And let's find a strategy that really, really works for you. And I can help you keep your own promises to yourself and make your progress real and make your progress sustainable for life, not just a little temporary thing, right? So in the end, building this integrity, just with one simple truth, the more you keep your promises to yourself, even though they might seem small, the easier it is to keep the big ones, right? It's just like quitting. There are people that just, the more you kind of keep quitting, the easier it gets to become a master quitter. Just flip that over. The more you show up for yourself and build those little confidence, even moments, even when they might seem like little small promises. When you get to the bigger promises, you tend to keep them. So it's not about perfection. I don't want to say that, but it is about progress. And it's about showing up for yourself day in and day out. And stop trying to get good at negotiating with yourself to get yourself out of the very things that you want to achieve in life and what you desire. So next time that you're tempted to skip a workout or make an excuse, just remember, my integrity is on the line. I'm a person who keeps my word. Do you keep your word to yourself? That's going to strengthen yourself instead of weakening it. So choose to strengthen it. Don't let the excuses, justifications, comparison, negotiations, all that stuff, don't let that control you and drain your power. It really boils down to deciding to commit to yourself and your goals and choose to figure out new ways, looking at possibilities, learning and growing, and keep moving forward. You've got this, my friend. I'd love to hear your top takeaway from today. Drop those down in the comments. I promise I will reply. You absolutely rock, my friend. And as always, remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week. That's another Power Blast podcast in the books. Thanks so much for tuning in. And remember, when you are ready to recharge your battery, make sure you go to talktoperry.com. That's talktoperry.com. That's Perry. And I want to listen. I want to hear, what's going on. I want to help you in that 15-minute call to recharge your battery and reclaim your power so that you're off and running and creating massive momentum toward your dream. Also, every day, I am delivering more motivation, support, tips, and strategies inside my free community with amazing people like yourself. And we are conquering the mindset and the fitness. I do 52 weeks of free training in there. Plus, I coach and I mentor people, as well as give you access to tons of resources and guides. It's called my Upside Down Fitness Community because we work on a lot of mindset stuff, the inside stuff. And we're a fun group of people striving to make healthier habits in this awesome chapter of life. So make sure you get in there. I promise you'll absolutely love it. Just head over to upsidedownfit.com and you can get into the group. And hey, you would be an awesome friend if you get over to iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcast and leave an honest rating and review for the Power Blast podcast. It helps awesome people like you find the show even faster, and that's who I'm looking for, awesome people like you. That's all I have for this week, my friend, and just to let you know, you absolutely rock. That's all I have for this week. I'll see you on the next Power Blast podcast, and always remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.